All right, we should be good now.
So we can start?
I believe so.
Okay, you want me to go? All right. Hello, welcome to our system's final project. In the project, we successfully managed to create the web server without any displayed errors. The project took us a couple of days in which I started the work with Thor and then a few other Spidey.c functions. Over the weekend, Paul managed to catch up with a lot of the work, and he did the other half of the Spidey.c functions, and we kind of split the work pretty perfectly. Overall, that took a long time to do. And then we decided to debug it together over Zoom just by sharing screens and trying to look through the code together. And that also took another numerous amounts of hours. So we managed to erase all the memory leaks and get rid of the val grind errors. So here's our first test for Thor, which has tended to take a little while, sadly, but it runs extremely slow.
Yeah, Clay got a head start on me because the week prior I had quite a bit of work, but I was able to jump in and do parts of Spidey as well as handle forking and request and utils. And then he handled the other .c files as well as Thor. And then we both got together and debugged it all, like he said, to get rid of the val grind errors. And it works smoothly.
Yep, so this is the part of the testing, I guess, that I didn't do after it passed it the first time because it took at least a few minutes, I think, last time. So I think would you want to do the other test as well while this one's running?
We can.
So, or we could just wait for this to finish and then we will start the other ones. Yeah, this one took a lot longer than the other ones.
I have to say I'm pretty proud of what we have made. I think it's pretty cool, honestly. The way we
it turned out pretty well.
Stuff.
So I guess as well, if we're trying to get a head start, we did manage to make it on a virtual server as well with the domain name of c4b.space. And then we just connect to it with the systems.c4b.space, and then we can run the entire server from that domain. And that was the last thing that we did for the project to round it off on a good note. So here it's speeding up.
And score another guru point.
Yeah, so I think we don't want this to take too long. So maybe we should start the other ones.
Yeah, probably so.
We could just come back to this. So then this one is taking student 05. So we'll come here. And then this isn't going to work at first because we need to make everything. Move this.
So this is the with forking, Spidey.
So this one's a bit faster. Okay, so that is the end of that one. And then we also had the one with single. I think that is 988. Okay. And hopefully these finish and the Thor one is also done. But okay, so that's all complete too. Now let's go back to Thor. which was one of
It's student 12.
student 12. Okay. So it's still not done.
Okay. Should just wait for it.
Yeah, I don't think there are too many left. It usually hits all of the test cases at about the same time, but they're all the same long intervals in between.
So I guess I could introduce the guru points that I did.
You want to start that now?
I could just talk about them. We don't have to
Okay.
show them right now.
We could show them after, yeah.
Yeah. So I incorporated a quiz, a couple questions about me, a couple questions about Clay. Just a fun little quick activity that you can do using HTML and Python. So that was fun to implement and looks good on the server. And then as well, I implemented a guest book or a message board rather, that maintains even if the server closes and we re-up it. It maintains because of a text file that you can see at the top here in the ls call. Greet.txt holds the info, and the Python script reads that and prints it out, as well as appends what the user writes when they write a message.
Okay, so we're nearing the end of this. If you want to start with the data analysis as well,
We'll get there. This is about to finish. So.
Hopefully. Okay, all right. There we go.
Great success.
On to the data. Okay, I think you have control of the screen too.
Yeah, okay, so for our testing for latency, we're looking at columns B through H. We have 3 tables, well, 6 tables total. We did throws of 1, 5, and 10, and we did 1 hammer and 2 hammers. And the table at the bottom is the average latency for them between the different throws. So one thing I want to say right off the bat, looking in hindsight, we probably should have written a test script to complete this, to run this faster. However, because of extraneous factors and other time constraints, we just quickly grinded it out. And looking at it now, we probably should have increased the difference in hammer size. So probably instead of 2 hammers here, use 5 to see a greater difference, because our data doesn't seem very consistent with what we would expect, which would be for forking to be better than single. As you can see, we'll look right here on row 6. Forking is almost double. But again, a lot of these tests, there's multiple people running the student machines, so we tried to run the same test 4 or 5 times. But when we were doing it, it must have just been a busy time. So that is how we tested the latency. And for the throughput, which is the bytes per second, there's some trouble scrolling over here. Similar table setup. We had a small, medium, and large file. And once again, ran the test, and then you just do the bytes divided by the time to get the bytes per second. And this one seemed to be a little bit better, but again, still inconsistent, or not as consistent as we would have hoped because of the aforementioned factors regarding multiple people using the student machines, um, and they're just not having enough memory or cores to run everything. So one of the advantages of using forking, though, is that you don't get spaghetti sauce on your fingers. So that's always a plus. No, seriously, one of the advantages of forking is that you can run multiple processes, but that comes as a disadvantage as well, because if you're limited in memory or time, then you may not be able to sufficiently allocate enough memory to copy the parent to the child. So that could raise a problem for you. And if your hardware cannot support multi-core processes, then you'd also have a problem there.
So I guess we can show the actual server itself. So this is the output that we ended up coming up with, thanks in turn to the Guru points, which made the project look a lot cooler. And with Bootstrap, we managed to implement this background of the Spider-Man from the Spider-Verse, as well as the start of one of the hit songs. And then as like a simple run through, you can go through here, images, so forth, bring it up. And I guess as well, it's hosted on a virtual server. And then this is the domain name, which from, I guess, Twitch streams and stuff as well, we figured out that this would be the IP address and set this as an @ request or an A request. And this is how we can connect to it through this bash RC. So basically, that was one of the things we decided to do, as well as implement Bootstrap. And then if we go to scripts as well, we can see the Guru points that Paul did too, if it will load. But it's been a little shaky. Sometimes it'll quickly jump to the next one, as seen earlier when we could open up the next page, and then other times it's a bit slower. But yeah, I guess with doing all of the different HTML things and such and using Bootstrap, it was really cool to be able to actually turn this into what it looks like now, even if it's, I guess, not as much as a normal website in some ways, but a lot more than what we've done in the past. And it was really cool to see it turn from just a blank white page with words on it to this. And then I guess the following scripts and stuff as well.
It's a lot of fun to do, and also like a great learning experience to learn the HTML formats and different ways you can implement that. So this is the quiz. Nice couple messages and picture there.
Yep, so I guess we could fill a few out. My real name is actually Boris, so that's not true, but Paul's minor, definitely history.
Huge history buff.
I wish right here. And then
Clay was going to be the lead scorer this season until the COVID.
Yeah,
hit.
until we got deleted from this semester. But bonus question: who's taller?
I think we both know the answer to this.
Pride's gonna say me, so then we can submit that. Hopefully, this will run a bit quicker. And then scroll to the bottom, and I got 06 correct. So yes, I am not good at Paul's quiz. So then we could go back as well to here and then go to the guest book and then a message. So you just type in
the first message there, Wowie Zowie Batman, we did it. That was my test message for victory after implementing this properly.
And then we would just type in worth it.
So you can see how that message is already there from a previous instance of the server running.
Yep.
And then Clay's message goes right there.
So I think as well, we can also bring up the fail page as well.
Yep. Let's give that a test.
Oof. So yeah, there were some fun parts to the project. Most of it was pretty fun. And
yeah, Clay and I had a blast doing it, and we definitely made the most of our the situation. Even though it was stressful at times, it was fun, especially in the last day. We
Yeah,
spent so much time just setting up the background and the colors, and it was a blast.
yeah. So I guess personally, myself, now that we've shown everything, I learned a lot more about coding than I previously knew. The only experience coding I had other than MATLAB in fundamentals of computing was nothing. So coming into this class, it was probably the most challenging and hopefully the most challenging computer science course I'll take. But jokes aside, it was extremely fun. It was extremely challenging, and it kind of enlightened me to what a future in computer science would mean. Uh, I really had no knowledge coming into it, so I guess the amount of things I learned was basically everything. Going to every class and picking up all the information. I learned a significant amount of information from Linux as well and other coding languages such as Python, writing scripts, and I think most of my advanced coding knowledge, especially learning things with pointers as well, is especially from this class. So I want to say thank you for giving us a fantastic semester, even in these odd circumstances, and letting us, I guess, have fun as well with it too.
Yeah, I'd
So
like to thank you as well. Systems has been one of my most favorite classes. Never missed a day, never missed a lecture. Um, and I did enjoy going to the CSE Commons, even if I wasn't doing or wasn't needing help. Being able to be there and ask if needed, or just get to know you better. But definitely a class where I learned a lot, and will be able to use the skills that I've gained, such as like reading man pages or using pointers and pointer arithmetic to create various objects, or even malloc and calloc, stuff that I didn't really know how to do, or Valgrind and freeing those things, stuff that I had never understood before or even had known, as well as picking up and learning different languages such as Python and building more into C, as well as learning shell scripting, which will be very helpful in the future. Uh, Probably definitely in programming challenges where I'll likely use Python for many of those, or C++, which is similar to the C coding we've been doing. So I'd like to thank you again for a great semester, and it was a lot of fun.
yeah, hopefully we will see you more in the future. So yeah, thank you. I think that is all from us, Ray Paul.